Hey everyone, welcome back to On Point. This episode, I sit down with Cody from Elk River Archery, who's Chris's oldest son, who is in love with elk calling competitions, and he's going to give us some tips, critique me, help me get better at calling, because honestly, he's much better at elk calling than I am, and he's only 16. So I figured get somebody on here that's better than me. There's a lot of guys that kind of can't get to that competition sound, where these guys just sound better. And so what are they doing that we're not? And that's what this episode's about. We have some fun, give some elk calling techniques as far as how to get those sounds, and I hope you guys enjoy. So getting back in the saddle with podcasting, looking forward to coming out with a bunch more content, and I'll see you guys at the end of the episode. Bye. All right. Why don't you start this thing off with a bugle, dude?
All right,
just show people what they're in for.
Lip ball?
Just do what you did a second ago before we started recording.
Broke note.
What was that?
We broke note a little bit there.
A little bit, yeah. I'm disappointed.
I am too.
Just kidding, man. So, give me a quick rundown of who you are.
I'm Cody Dunlap. I do competition calling for elk. Avid elk hunter. Love hunting in general.
Yeah.
I work for my dad at Elk River Archery, so that's my dad. You guys have heard him on the podcast before.
Oh, yeah, a few times.
Yep.
Yeah. And what's cool about you is I'm going to drop your age on here because I think it's cool.
Yeah.
How old are you?
I'm 16.
16 years old, and you're out calling anybody I personally know. Like, you're a stud caller, dude.
Yeah, thank you.
How many things have you won so far?
4 competitions.
4
4 or 3, I can't remember.
That's crazy. Dude, I'm good enough to call in an elk, but I'm not, like, there's a difference between, I wanted to have you on here because there's a difference between what you're sounding like and what I'm sounding like.
Yeah.
Right? And we had this conversation earlier, and then I kind of got me thinking, I'm like, this would make a good podcast. Like, why can I bugle louder than others? Mm-hmm. Why can you bugle louder than me? Why does your bass sound better?
Yeah.
So I want to kind of get into the weeds in the elk calling, not like, here's what you do when the elk is doing this. No, how do I sound better?
Yeah.
So that's why you're here, is because you sound better than I do.
Okay.
And I'm turning 30 here. Not that age has a lot to do with it.
No, it really doesn't.
But it's really impressive for 16, and your little brother is a stud caller too.
That kid can call. He's here pretty soon. I got a pretty good feeling that I'm going to have some stout competition from him. Some real stout competition.
And the Dunlap brothers are going to be picking up a bunch of competitions and putting them in their back pocket.
Hopefully, that's what the plan is.
Yeah. So let's get into this, because right now I've tried quite a few different elk calls. I've tried the Phelps. I'm not sponsored by anybody, and I don't think you are either. Not yet, anyways.
Yeah.
Wait till you turn 18, maybe.
Yep.
Is there laws for that or something?
So in the Oregon regulations for elk calling is any youth caller cannot be sponsored by somebody or they're considered a professional caller. So even when I go into the adult division when I turn 18, I technically still cannot be sponsored.
Really?
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
If you're sponsored by anybody whatsoever, if you have any affiliation with the company, you're considered a professional caller.
And you're going to be lumped in with, like, Corey Jacobson.
Yeah.
And you're screwed.
Yeah. No, my ultimate goal in life is to call against Cody Jacobson.
Is it really?
Yeah.
You're going to be there soon.
Hopefully.
Be there very soon.
That's the main goal.
So when do you want to get sponsored, I guess? Like, what's the benefit? Do you get paid?
So if you're good enough, then they'll pay for you to go to competitions.
Oh, okay.
Like, they'll pay, like, let's say it's a local competition, like, well, not local. Like, let's say the competition drives 2 hours away.
Okay.
They'll pay for your gas to get there. If it's Worlds, then they'll pay for your plane ticket to get there and your plane ticket to get back. And then all the commodities and everything like that.
So are the Worlds held in the same spot every year?
No, they switched it. So last year it was at a convention center, and it was like a huge, it was like the Oregon Sportsman Show, but in Utah kind of.
Okay.
And they held it there in a little room that sounded horrible for elk calling. There was way too much echo in there. They left the doors open. You could hear kids screaming and yelling out in the hallways while people are doing routines, and it's like, all right, this has got to change. So everybody kind of complained about it, and then they switched it this year to where the Northwest Mountain Challenge was held, or not the North Mountain Challenge, Total Archery Challenge.
Okay.
Where it was held up at, I can't remember the name of the place, but
it wasn't Hoodoo, was it?
No, it was at in Utah at the Total Archery, or maybe Total Archery Challenge.
Okay.
I want to say Park City.
Okay.
That's where it was, and they had that place was actually really nice. It sounded really good in there. There wasn't any echo. It was all like just super thick walled, and they left like cracks in the doors open, but it was a super long hallway, so nobody walked down it.
Oh, okay.
So it was nice. There was no kids screaming and yelling, nothing like that at all.
So I guess you don't want a room with an echo and all that stuff. Then you just want a nice quiet room.
Yeah, that's really what you want. And every time before we go, I tell my dad, "Hey, get the plane tickets before a day early." Well, why is what he always asks me. I go, because I want to go in that room and I literally want to call for 3 hours 2 to 3 hours by myself.
Really?
Just so that I can see how it sounds. I'll take voice memos, and I'll just sit there and I'll listen to them. I'll be sitting in the room listening to them. I'll be like, okay, I should change that. I'll change that. I'll change this.
Okay, I want to get into that here later because you're going to places I want to go in the podcast. But
no, I gotcha.
So, I mean, what are you using right now, and why? And explain to me why you and I are using the same call, but you sound better than I do.
So I use the Phelps Pink. It's his signature call. The reason why I use it is because I love the latex that he uses for it, and I love the stretch that he has in the latex.
Okay.
So really, I have my little brother. He'll go put this reed in his mouth, and he'll literally sound like a dying cat. And I don't know why. And then I'll put his reed, which is the Phelps Green, in my mouth, and I cannot call with it to save my life.
Really?
So really, what it is just a preference of latex, and then like what stretch you want. There's heavy stretch, there's low stretch, there's a bunch of different things that you have to take in consideration, like for calling and stuff like that. And then I also use the Maverick. I just started picking this one up, and I'm liking it so far, but nothing can touch the Phelps for me.
The Phelps has been my favorite so far this year and last year.
Yeah.
Another one I liked last year was it was before they changed to the dark green tape where you had the funny tasting tape, the bright lime green one.
Yeah.
I liked that one last year, or it was like 2 years ago. But anyways,
2 years ago,
I liked that one. And I tried the Maverick this year. It's better for me for getting the higher pitches.
Yep.
But the cow calls out of the Pink, I like them better.
You
get
that
low.
hollow,
Yeah. And so after you and I were talking yesterday while we were scouting for your whitetail tag, I was like picking your brain. I'm like, so here's what I do, and you're like, yeah, I do that. I'm like, here's what here's some other things I do. I'm like, yeah, you're doing the same things I am.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, so I suck because I'm not executing it as good. So
it has a ton to do with the way I believe, at least, because the same thing. Me and my brother called literally the exact same way. I told him exactly what to do, and he's done it, right? Well, he goes and he does that, and he can't sound like I do with the same reed. I personally believe that it has it has everything to do mostly with air pressure. The amount of air pressure you're using, the way you can slide the note, the way you can move your tongue while still calling.
Yeah.
And then I believe it also has a little bit to do with the way that your mouth is shaped. I have a pretty normal sized palate right at the top of my mouth. My little brother's palate is actually pretty big. So I think that the way that the call sits in his mouth versus because we take all of his diaphragms in this little metal frame on the top, and we crush them down.
Really?
Yeah. We'll put them I'll move them probably, I don't know, a 16th of an inch down.
That's crazy.
Just because it won't fit in his mouth right, and it'll sound almost too hollow.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I feel like I have I have no idea because the only mouth I felt is mine. So I feel like I kind of have a deep palate, but I don't know for sure.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know anything about that stuff.
It's hard to explain really to people when they talk about what I'm talking about right now, the whole palate thing. It does have to do with how deep it is, and some people I've literally seen them have to bend their frames so that the reed will fit in there.
That's the Carlton one for me.
Yeah.
So the Carlton ones are they seem a little wider.
They are. They definitely are.
And they just don't fit. They actually reach the both insides of my molars.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I can't even get it into the roof of my mouth all the way.
Yeah, I had Bo Brooks make me some just custom calls. I was at his house one day. We were messing around, and I had him make me some, and he uses super wide pallet plate.
Really?
And I was like, dude, I cannot use these. Like, do you have any smaller ones? He was like, nope, these are what I use. I figured I'd just make you some. I was like, all right.
He makes them on his own?
Yeah.
So he uses his own calls.
Well, he works for Power Calls, and they just, like, literally, I think 2 weeks ago started coming out with his own signature calls.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cool.
He has 3 of them right now. His cow call that he makes is pretty slick.
Dude, I heard him in the competitions this year, and for guys that are wondering, there's like Facebook videos of him of all of them competition bugling and stuff. His like calf and cow calls
are
were amazing,
insane. And that's the read that he came out with for Power Calls. It's called the Single Lady.
Shout out to him, dude.
Yeah, shout out to Bo.
I don't know him, but he got some good cow calls, and his lip ball was pretty impressive.
Yeah, his lip ball is crazy.
Yeah, it was fun. I was like, how are these guys sounding this good? Like I've spent hours before when I was worried about it, and then I was like, dude, I'm not a competition caller. What are you doing? Like, what I'm doing is working in the woods.
Yeah,
but it bothers me that I'm not. When I see a bunch of people doing something better than me, it pisses me off, and I have to get on that same level.
Same here.
So that's why it just drives me insane. But so with the calls that he's using, he uses a wider,
super wide pallet plate.
Is that has to make a difference?
It does
versus a narrow one. What's
so
going on
when you use a wider pallet plate, basically what it is, it just makes your calf calls, and it makes it so that your tongue can sit more on the reed.
Okay.
So
more surface area.
Yeah, it's more surface area hitting the reed, so you can hit a lot of lower notes, a lot of higher notes.
Really?
Versus, these ones, which I feel like I can slide on these pretty well, but with those reeds, if I could find a wider pallet plate than this one, I feel like I could slide a lot better because you're getting a lot more contact area with.
I'm gonna start wetting this one up. So
yeah.
But so I personally, I like getting that nasally lower end. When I learned how to elk call for a few years, the guy that was teaching me always hit those lower tones. And he's like, I'll go in and right after somebody else, I'll hit those lower tones. He's a rosy hunter. Hit those lower tones, not even do it like a beautiful locate bugle, just a gradual get louder, same tone, but it's low. Yeah. And he'll get those responses that those other guys aren't getting.
Yeah.
And so the frequency and the tone had a lot to do with it, in my opinion. And so that's why I've been drawn to some of these calls. Like the Primos, it would be the red split reed. The V has the V in the thing. Yeah. I get that same thing out of the pink. And then out of the green, I can get a pretty good cow call too.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so walk me through a cow call and how you are getting that, not that da-da-da-da-da, but you're getting a nice gradual single no breaks.
So what I do is a lot of people say, you got to slide your tongue. It doesn't work for me. I have to slide the note of how much air I'm pushing out. So when I do it, and as I'm doing that, I'm gradually opening my mouth more because when you open it up, then your cheeks will they'll expand a little bit.
It gets a little hollow.
Yeah, and it gets hollow.
Yes.
Instead of it just being, I'll do it without opening my mouth anymore. Versus,
sounds more like a calf.
It makes it a lot more hollow, and it makes it a lot deeper, more realistic versus a high pitch, like you said, calf.
Yeah.
And when I'm doing a calf, I won't open my mouth at all. I'll literally leave a crack and just and that's all I'll do.
Okay.
And it sounds like you're saying like a calf would.
Kind of, yeah. It's just that higher pitch.
Yeah.
And so the way that I really use the pink. I went through like 6 of these things, dude. I want to work with Phelps on creating a call. And I told you I want to call it the OP blowhard because I blow really freaking hard on call. I will go through one of these in 2 days. Yeah. If I blow enough. It's crazy.
Same here. My dad spends a lot of money on me every year for reeds because what I'll do is it's a bad habit. I got to get rid of it. But I'll sit there and I'll chew on my reeds. I'll be walking around the woods and I'll be sitting there chewing on them. I'll be like, all right, I need to stop chewing on this thing before it literally makes it so I can't call anymore.
Yeah. Well, so if I could make a – so I showed you some of those Carlton with the like the water resistant or waterproof tape. I don't feel like it gets a good seal to the top of my mouth. But if I could get that waterproofness with a flexible tape like Phelps. Like there's got to be a medium.
Yeah, there
material.
has to be.
That would be an awesome material.
Yeah.
So somebody that makes a call should like listen.
Those Carltons that I was using down there, they did not stick to my mouth worth a crap. I literally couldn't do anything. I was like, okay, like I can't slide my note because when I slide my note, I'm dropping my jaw more, and I'm letting the reed like kind of sink back.
Yeah.
Versus like it literally just falling onto my tongue when I bring my jaw down.
When I got those, they told me break these in, like spend an hour just hammering on these things. And so maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know. They just don't fit my mouth, and so I'm like, somebody that actually can call out deserves these calls. I can't use them. Like
I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna tell Owen to sit here and play with these things for a little bit, and he will.
Yeah, my buddy Bob actually has a few Super Sneak, and so if you guys are looking for a cool call, shout out to Bob. Yeah. Super Sneak, super cool guy.
Yeah.
But those are he works with Carlton on those, and uses the is it the 450 Rippets or the Rippet? I don't know anything about them really. The Rippet frames.
Oh yeah. I think those were the 450 Rippets.
Yeah,
I want to say.
But you were getting way better sounds out of them than I was.
It's got to be. Let's put it this way. I bugle so much that my neighbors get super angry.
Really?
And we live outside of city limits.
That's crazy.
Yeah, like I'll go over and I'll talk to the neighbors after I'll bugle for an hour and a half straight, and they'll be like, "Oh, you finally quit with that bugle, huh?" And I'll be like, "Oh yeah, I stopped with it about 15 minutes ago." And they'll just start laughing.
So I want to get into the how-to. So the way that I get a nice raspy cow call is I start with a lot of air pressure to get that high. A lot of air tight pressure against the reed using the best way that I saw it put was Mike Batiste saying make a sh sound, and where your tongue hits the roof of your mouth when you go sh, that's where that reed should be. And since I did that, I've been more conscious about where that tongue's been on the reed, and I've actually got way better tones. I've
never done anything like that. Literally how I did this was literally how I got into calling. Was my dad went and bought a 4-pack of reeds. They were Primos reeds. They weren't anything special. And he goes, "You want one of these?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." It was 2 years away from me starting hunting. So I was like, "Okay, yeah, I'll take him." So I'm literally outside playing with him, and I'm shooting my bow, and I have it in my mouth because I thought I was pretty cool. I was like, "Oh, I'm stopping a bull, right? Like a pretend bull." And I start screaming through it. My dad goes, "Dude, Cody, I thought you were actually hurt." And he was like, "Don't do that again." And I was like, "Oh, sorry." So then I kind of just kept doing it. And we have videos of me calling when I was 12. And my dad, and literally after those videos, I kind of just quit calling for a year and a half. And I came back to it, and I started bugling again. And then my dad's like, "All right, let's hear your chuckle." And I started chuckling. My dad goes, "What happened?" I go, "What, did it sound bad?" And he goes, "No, it actually sounds really good." So literally over a year and a half, somehow I kind of just...
Well, you probably grew, your mouth got a little bit bigger.
Yeah, and literally just over a year and a half, somehow my chuckles and...
And what that probably is more air.
Yeah.
Because you're bigger, you get more air going out.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
So Owen's main problem right now is he doesn't have bass. A lot of your chuckle is from your voice. Like the end of your chuckle, is from your voice. He still has a pretty high-pitched voice. He's only... 14 now.
Yeah.
He's just starting to hit puberty. When he gets through puberty all the way, that kid is going to sound crazy because his cadence on his chuckles, like literally everything that he does,
he's good.
Yeah, he's really good.
His technique and everything's great.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give an example of a bugle or a chuckle that I hear a lot of guys doing, and this is how I can pick out a hunter most of the time.
Yeah.
I'll just do it real quick.
All right.
And then I'll do and then maybe you should do it because you're better at call calling. Period. But that's most of the guys that chuckle.
Yeah, that's a lot of the guys that chuckle.
And they don't, and the best way I can describe it, and if I get off base here, you tell me because like I said, you are much better at this stuff than I am. Is it comes from the stomach, not from the chest. It's like how you're coughing. That comes from the stomach,
exactly.
Like a big cough.
Yeah.
Well, you're doing that with a chuckle. Well, that's how I do it anyways. And so why don't you give us a good chuckle because you'll do the audience a better favor than I will. So that space, that bottom end there. God, that sounds
some
good.
of those weren't that bottom endy, but
the end,
the last couple got there pretty good.
I love that. And then a lot of it is the breathing.
Yes,
the breathing
ton of it.
You breathe in through the bugle, right?
Yes.
And you get that kind of like that bull breathing sound. It's really hard to describe, but so walk me through a chuckle real quick. How would a guy achieve that?
So a lot of people, what I'll tell them, so when they first ask me that, they'll come into the shop, they'll be like, oh, like, hey, let me hear you call real quick. I'll go out there and call for him, right? And then they'll be like, okay, how do you chuckle like that? That's the number one question everybody has.
Really?
First thing is, how do you chuckle like that?
Huh.
I go, well, what I tell everybody is go home and don't do any other alcohol except for a chuckle for a month straight. And they'll be like, well, why? And I'll be like, trust me, what you'll start doing is you'll start off with just doing you'll start doing that.
Yeah.
And then after that, then you'll be able to put in the like that. Once you get that going, then your chuckle's starting to get there pretty good. So
Here you go.
It'll start off.
Point it towards that other mic over there.
It'll start off like this. And then when you get that when you get that pop to breathe in, then it'll go.
That's crazy.
So really what it is, it's a high pitch to a drop the call literally straight on its face. And then breathe it and then just suck all that air back in. And then repeat.
Okay, give me a try.
Let's get it. Let's see it.
Get shown up by a 16-year-old. All right. So I'm not dropping it as hard as you are.
Yeah.
Maybe it's more air.
Just drop. No, literally just go. So start it off as kind of just get that high pitch and then drop it. Just complete. You hear those? How much
I heard it
bass
better.
they have?
I dropped it quicker.
Yeah, that's what you need. That's what I tell everybody. Is just literally just.
Interesting. I'm learning shit here.
Once you hit that high note where you feel like that's good, literally just drop your jaw completely off of it. Drop everything off of it, and then, and if your reed fits right, it should stay right at the top of your palate. It should just sit right there.
That's why I like the pink. It just to me it fits really good.
All of them have the same frame. They all have the same frame. None of them are bigger. Only thing that's different is the latex and the stretch of the latex.
That's it?
Yeah.
Really?
And
maybe that's why I can use any of the Phelps ones.
Yeah.
Because they're all the same size then.
Yeah.
But,
I believe. Don't quote me on that.
It just feels really good when I use this one, but like I don't have to move it around much. Like if it pops right into place for me.
Yeah.
But so I guess walk me through some other things that you see guys that are getting wrong here, because I see the cow calls. The guys are breaking cow calls.
Yeah.
And for me, and I kind of went there and I forgot to touch on it, but for the estrus or that whiny drop down, I drop my jaw a lot.
Same here.
I don't slide my tongue. I drop my jaw.
Your tongue is naturally going to stay up if you've called enough. Your tongue is naturally just going to stay up on the top. Yeah, it's going to stay up on the top of the roof of your mouth. It's not going to drop with your jaw.
Right.
You have to train yourself, like when the chuckle, you have to train yourself to just completely drop everything off.
Are you dropping your jaw on a chuckle?
When I chuckle, it's my jaw. I drop it a little bit just so that I can get my tongue deeper, so that when I inhale, my tongue's not touching my reed. Because if I inhale with my tongue touching my reed, it'll go and like buzz.
Yeah, you're not dropping your jaw at all.
Really?
Huh. It's like staying right there.
See, so then my jaw already starts pretty low then, because my dad's always told me, he's like, man, you're dropping your jaw.
Really?
I guess I've changed.
To me, it didn't look like you were that much.
I guess I've just changed it then, because my jaw, I guess, starts a little bit lower now than it used to, and now I'm just dropping my tongue down, which is a good thing, because now I can chuckle a lot quicker. That's what it is, yeah, because during Worlds, that was my number one thing, is I was chuckling super slow.
Really?
It was just, whoa, whoa, whoa. Versus, like, you hear Corey Jacobson, Bo, all those people are just, whoa, 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 whoa. It's like, okay, I need to speed these up a little bit.
So for guys that are wanting to get, I want to finish this thought on the Mew real quick. Is it's tight pressure, lots of air for me personally.
Yes.
And then I'll drop my jaw down, releasing pressure on the plate. I will or increase my air, because if you don't, you're going to lose, you're going to break. So I increase my air a little bit when I'm going and loosening that pressure against the reed, and then I'll lighten it back up. What do I do? Let me go. So I kind of increase the air the more I get, and then like the farther away that my tongue gets away from the reed, the harder I blow.
Yeah.
Just so I can keep that note.
Yeah,
Is that accurate for you?
Yeah, just so you can keep the note.
So yeah, it starts off with, and I don't blow hard with the pink at all.
Nope, not with cow calls. Cow calls are really easy through the pink. They're not hard.
Oh, so it'd be like that. I broke that one, but yeah. I really like that whiny sound. I throw that in there all the time when I'm hunting and
Same
stuff.
Here.
Yeah. So I guess give me a good tip on the locate bugling, and then let's get into a little bit more of the competition stuff, because I think this competition stuff is going to start blowing up. A lot of these guys out in the woods,
they're starting to get pretty good. I will say that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of guys that I think maybe the best in the world's never even tried an elk calling competition. They don't even care.
I mean, I've heard there's one guy that just showed up to Stevens Pass one, and he's not a competition caller. He straight up said, he goes, I hate competition, but I'm only in this one because Dirk told him to.
Oh, really?
So this guy, I can't remember the guy's name.
Dirk told him to?
Yeah, Dirk told him to. It was one of Dirk's buddies from Idaho. This guy shows up out of the blue. I'm thinking it's like this guy who's just, first time ever calling or something like that, Just got it. Guy shows up, literally just rips a bugle. I'm like, oh, crap. I was like, heck yeah, this is sweet. And then the kid that ended up beating me at that place, at Stevens Pass, beat that guy.
Really?
Which I was actually super surprised about. I was like, there's no way this guy's losing. Like, I kind of knew right from the get-go. I was like, yeah, I'm losing to this guy. Like, that guy, he was that good. I was like,
really?
This guy is freaking amazing. Oh, my little brother, who's one of my, he's my biggest supporter when it comes to those competitions.
That's cool.
He straight up said to me, he goes, yeah, I don't know if you're going to beat this guy. I was like, yeah, dude, I know.
That's exactly what you want to hear.
No, I straight up knew. I told him at first. I was like, dude, I don't think I'm going to beat this guy. And no one goes, yeah, I don't either. I was like, thanks, but I already know.
Well, so I guess walk me through what that guy was able to do that you weren't doing.
So that day, I do not know why. I don't know if it was the 6-hour drive going there. I was super fatigued, super tired, or whatever it was. But I could not hold a clean note to save my life.
Really?
I was sitting there. I'd come in. I'd hit my locate, and it would just woo, woo, woo. I was like, what in the heck is happening? It was the weirdest thing ever. And then I'd walk 500 yards away to go, just like make sure that my reed was good, or, throw another one in and then make sure that one was good. And I was doing the same thing. I was like, okay, it's got to be something. It's got to be something weird. So I literally walked to the Phelps booth, and I gave him $9 and said, "Hey, let me get a pink right now." And they're like, "Okay." So they break a pink out. I throw it in, go up on there, and break note again. I was like, "Okay, I know when I put a brand new Phelps reed in, a brand new pink, that I can call. I can hold a clean note." I did not know what it was, but that day I cannot hold a clean note to save my life.
Weird.
Yeah, it was the weirdest thing ever.
Huh.
The guys' chuckles were they were spot on too. And that competition wasn't a cow call competition at all. It was give us all your best bugles for 30 seconds and then go sit down and wait for your head-to-head to go.
Really?
Yeah.
So is that like a ranking?
It was they literally said you and you come up and call.
Really?
And then they had you do rock paper scissors for who was first and who was second.
Huh.
Yeah.
So give me a rundown of what a call sequence is. How do you pick a call sequence? I mean, what is the point of even an elk calling competition? Because it really, I mean, my slight with an elk calling competition is like the elk think I'm good.
Yeah.
So who are you to tell me
that I'm not?
Yeah,
exactly.
So walk me through what they're looking for. If someone is wanting to get into the game, what do you do?
It's really hard to say. My best advice to somebody that's just trying to get into elk calling or just trying to get into competitions would be go watch Corey Jacobson routine and copy it. Literally the whole entire thing.
Really?
From every cow call to every bugle sequence. So if he starts off with a locate, you start off with a locate. If he goes to lip ball after that, you go to lip ball. Just start off with that, because that is, I'm going to say, the most universally known like elk calling routine. Everybody's heard of Corey Jacobs. Every like elk hunter's heard of Corey Jacobson.
Right.
You know, everybody in the competition game knows exactly what routine he does. Like my little brother like can recite it now.
Really?
Because he's watched so many of them. Like he'll start off with this, then this, then this, and like, dude, why do you know this?
So he does the same thing over and over again
Every year.
Okay.
Starts off with the same routine. And little known fact. Corey Jacobson, it's a well-known fact in the competition world, but Corey Jacobson, when he goes up on stage, will have a hoochie mama in his back pocket. I kid you not. He'll hit his cow call, and then he'll squeeze that hoochie mama.
Really?
So it'll sound like two cows going off at the same time.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Smart.
It works. It works.
Smart,
that's for sure, yeah.
Hey, you know what? Guys can talk shit about all day about a hoochie mama.
They
First
work.
elk I ever called in was with a hoochie mama.
Yeah, they work. I mean.
It's just when the guys are out there going, cranking on that thing.
Oh, yeah. I got a story about that.
Like DJ Diddle's out there with a freaking
no kidding. It's funny.
hoochie mama. But, but you can get some good lost cow and calf calls with a hoochie mama.
you
I don't
can.
get very good mews with it at all, but it's because it doesn't have a long enough breath.
Yeah, it doesn't have a long enough one. But if you could put an extended one on it, then that thing would be pretty good.
Yeah, it wouldn't be bad.
Yeah, extended cow calls.
Yeah.
But going back into competition, so a normal routine for a bugle, at least, I would start off with a locator, because most of the time when you're out in the woods, you're going to locate first if you're going to bugle.
That makes sense.
You're not going to go straight into a chuckle. You're not going to go straight into a lip ball. You're gonna scream first, right? Because that's the loudest thing that you can most likely do. You want the most elk to hear you. So when I go up on stage, the first thing I always start off with is a located bugle. I might throw a bark in before it, because Bo actually taught me this. He goes, bark and then hit the locate. I was like, what are you talking about? So I did it, and he was like, that sounded perfect. And I went to a competition, I did that, and I won it.
Really?
So I was like, heck yeah,
Why
I'm sticking.
bark?
I have no clue.
Why the hell would you bark?
It's not even a loud bark. It's just a...
Oh, that's more of a chuckle.
Yeah, that's what it was. But he explained it as a bark. My man was like, that sounds like a chuckle.
Yeah.
I was like, whatever.
Yeah.
But it literally, like, for some reason, maybe I just called exceptionally good that day. But I ended up winning that competition, and Bo's like, I'm telling you, it's because of that. Obviously,
I do that out in the woods, too.
Yeah.
And what it helps me do is make sure I'm in the right spot. It's not because I think the bull's going to respond better if I chuckle real quick. Or a lot of times I'll cow call, make sure that I'm in the right spot with my mouth and the reed and everything, and then I'll hit that bugle.
Yeah.
Or I'll go work my way into the bugle so I can make sure I'm going to hit the right note.
Yeah.
So I'll go something like... I'll kind of have that.
Yeah.
Just so I can make sure that it's
in the spot.
It's going to hit, and then it's going to go up. But because sometimes, and that helps me prevent like it cracking and stuff. If I just try and start off and just go without that little startup, I'm more prone to error.
Yeah.
And
I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, I don't know if that's good or bad. For elk calling, to me, it don't matter. But for competition, I don't know if you'd want to do that or not.
What I'll do is, before I'll get out to go hike or something like that, I'll literally put the reed in my mouth and I'll cow call with it, like, I don't know, probably 15 times, and I'll know it's in the right spot, and I will not move it. I won't move it to the side. I'll literally just leave it sitting up there.
Okay.
And then I'll just walk out like that the whole entire way there.
So for a routine, the judges are wanting you to do what you're going to do in the woods.
Most of the time, yeah. There's some judges that really, it's a shot in the dark. Go up there and do what you want, and you figure it out. Most of the time, getting picked first is the worst, because you're the guinea pig most of the time. If you're in a head-to-head competition getting picked, if you're the first caller and then you got your second caller, you're the guinea pigs. So I called against a kid this year in Worlds, not knocking on the kid at all. The kid, he was 7 years old.
Whoa.
Young guy, using his mouth. That kid was insanely good for using his mouth. But, it's two different tiers. There's bass, which is what I would say, I had. And then there's, mouth calling, which you can't get bass out of mouth calling, especially when you're 7 years old.
Right.
And that got voted 7-2. Or not 7-2, excuse me, 5-2. I beat him 5-2.
Really?
I was like, okay. So I told Owen, I was like, when you go up there, like, you already don't have that much yet. He doesn't have that much bass yet. But I was like, try to just cut it back a little bit and see what happens. And he went up there, and the kid that beat me third and fourth, he lost to 4-3. So I kind of knew there. I was like, okay, I need to cut some bass out, because that kid that he beat him had. But what was weird was that kid that beat him had a ton of base. So I was like,
that's weird.
Yeah, I was like, what's happening? So kind of it's just shot in the dark for a while, and then eventually you'll get kind of used to it. They'll be like, okay, this is what they want to hear. Go up there and do that. So, but on the second day on the finals, it was all sorts of weird. But like a normal routine when you go up there for cow calls is kind of just you start off with lost calf. That's what I've always done. That's what Brian Landley told me to do. That's what Corey told me to do.
Really?
So all those guys told me to do. They'll walk up there, and the first thing you do is hit a lost calf meal.
It's easy.
Yeah, that's what it is. And you can just check and make sure that everything's good when you do that.
Okay.
Because you can't really screw up a lost calf. Like
it's so short and high.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to screw one of those up. So
watch me hold my soda.
So he goes up there, and because the pros called before us this year, which is the first time that's happened in a while. He walks up there, and the first thing he hits was lost calf. I was like, okay, that's what I'm gonna do. And then I asked Jason and Bo, I was like, what are you guys going to do to start off with lost calf? It's like, okay, that's what I'm doing then. So I went up there and hit lost calf. And then after that, most of the time I'll go into like an estrus meal. And then I'll hit cow barks. And then I'll just go into like me trying to sound like a bunch of different cows. Or like, 3 or 4 cows going back and forth, conversating and all that. And I would say that it works most of the time because that's what a lot of people do. Is if this year they kind of screwed it up with the pros, they only gave them 15 seconds to do cow calls.
Weird. Which
is weird. But you had 3 different sections. So they'd say, okay, caller 1, do lost calf mews. So you do lost calf mews for 15 seconds. That's all you could do, or else you're disqualified.
Really?
Like obviously if you mess up and hit a cow call, but if you're gonna bark during lost calves, then they said that you were done basically.
Really?
Yeah. Then they would say call number 2, do the bull barks. So they were switching it up like that. So then you go hit bull barks 15 seconds. I don't know why you bull bark 15 seconds, but hey, it happens. Then they would say, okay, call number 1 go into like they could literally say anything. They could say cow mews, location bugle, challenge bugles, chuckles, like anything. So they did that this year, which was kind of funky, and then they gave them 30 seconds of freestyle, where they literally just went out there and did whatever they wanted for 30 seconds. So that was kind of weird. But for youth this year, they did what they did last year, which was 45 seconds to cow, 45 seconds for bull, which is pretty good. So
you can get a lot of calling in 45 seconds.
Me and my brother both can go through 5 different bugles plus 2 bull barks.
Really?
In 45 seconds.
Yeah.
We can hit lip ball with chuckle, straight chuckle, location, challenge bugle, and then I throw in this thing called the bull moan. Brian taught me it, and
show me that.
It's weird. It's weird.
You gotta show me that.
So he said that bulls do this when they're raking trees. They'll be sitting down there and they'll just go like this. And then they'll hit chuckle right after it.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never heard that. But
when I was in Sled Springs,
heard that?
It was the craziest thing ever. I could literally, like, my dad goes, I hit a location bugle. Wouldn't get the bull to answer me. I'd hit that, and we'd start raking a tree. Like 3 bulls fire off.
Really?
It was the weirdest thing ever. So it works in the woods pretty well.
Yeah. I mean, I've been next to bulls raking plenty of times, but I've never heard that before.
I do not know why Brian told me to do it one time. He goes, go out in the woods this year and try it. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Went out there.
I've never even heard of that.
Yeah, and I tried it, and I was like, this is crazy.
Huh. Yeah, it's really whiny.
It is.
Like
that's what it is. Yeah.
Whine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's super weird.
Huh. Yeah. No, I've never heard of that.
Yeah, I'll throw that in for some of my competitions. I had a judge come up to me at Oregon one time. He goes, what was that? This is a bull moan?
Yeah.
Oh.
Huh.
It's like, nice.
I docked you for that.
Yeah. No, like, I think he actually did because I ended up losing that competition. I was like, oh, sweet.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I shouldn't have thrown that in there. I guess I should have just stayed with the baseline stuff.
Well, I guess there's some other things that I've done. And so what are some things that you do? For example, you and I talked about cocking the mouth, like a 45 in your mouth.
Yep.
And that helps me get better calf calls, easier calf calls.
That's exactly what I do.
walk me through some of those things, and is there other things that guys can do to get more sounds out of their calls?
Like the weird things that you can do with your calls?
Exactly.
Okay. One of the weird things I'll do is before I'll go in the woods every time is I'll stick my tongue right between the latex and this part because a lot of the times when it's going up and down, it's actually hitting that part.
Between the palate and the latex?
Just stick it right in between that thing.
Really?
Yeah. Because what it'll do
I've never done that before.
Yeah, it'll make it a lot like softer on the top.
Really?
So it'll make it so your tone isn't so rigid.
Really?
Yeah, literally. I mean, eventually, if you have it in there enough, then it'll like if you have your reed in your mouth enough, then it'll just get like it'll
saturated
get wet.
Through being
Yeah. But I just do it to start it off. Like that's the first thing I'll do. Like I'll leave my reed sitting in my call box overnight, and then the first thing I'll do right when I get in the woods is I'll do that, and then I'll put it in, get it wet for about 5 minutes, and then start calling with it.
Really?
Yeah, but the number one thing I would say is you can't throw a reed in and start calling with it within the first 30 seconds.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Latex is still dry.
So you won't get good,
it's not,
more consistent calls out of it?
Yeah, yeah. Like your notes will break a lot more. Like this is all stuff that I've found. I mean, you guys can take this however you want. But
it's funny because my pink, I find that I get it too wet and I'm slurping the spit out of there.
Yeah, they like if you can get them too wet. That's for sure. Like I've had one where I left it in there for 2 hours straight.
Oh, geez.
And I literally had to take it out and fake throw it on the ground just to get all the spit out of it and put it back in. But it'll stay in the latex. It'll stay kind of surrounded the latex, and then it'll keep that wet so that you're not getting all sorts of weird notes coming out of it. But like literally, if you touch your latex on your call right now, you'll realize that it's still pretty damp.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's not. They're not supposed to be dry when you're calling with them.
Interesting. Well, I know that I was hunting with a buddy named James. He'll be on the show here soon. He was using the green with the very tip of his tongue.
Yeah.
Getting some killer cow calls with it.
Yeah, a lot of people can do that. And the reason why they can is because when you put the tip of your tongue on there, there's less like surface area. So you can get a lot higher pitch out of it.
Interesting.
Yeah. Like I was saying with that wide palate.
Yeah.
You can get a lot more. You can hit those low notes because you don't have to blow as hard because there's a lot more latex around there. And there's going to be parts in your tongue where it's going to be inconsistent, so you don't got to blow as hard.
Okay.
But when you use the very tip of your tongue, it's a very fine line that you have to ride so that you're not breaking note or doing any of that stuff.
Interesting.
I've never been able to call at the tip of my tongue. I've always only been able to call at the middle of my tongue.
Well, the tip of my tongue, it's like a weird sensation that's like tickles or like buzzes. It almost hurts.
Yeah, kind of.
I don't like it.
Yeah, same.
I don't like the sensation it does.
I can't use tip of my tongue. No way.
So I want to kind of do something fun here.
All right.
It just popped in my head. I want you to do because you've been to competitions and stuff. Throw at me what a judge would throw at you, and we're going to compete.
What a judge would throw at me? Like, what do you mean?
The audience, the listeners, can comment on the Instagram post when I post this episode after they listen to it.
Okay.
You can tell us who won.
Who won?
Obviously, it's going to be you.
Who won the calling
competition? But it'll be fun.
Who won the calling competition?
You can say you kicked Garrett's ass in a calling competition.
All right, you go first.
Okay, what am I doing? Your last competition. Tell me what they did.
Well, I didn't compete in pro, but I can give you a pro one if you want.
No, dude, look at me.
No. I can give you like what I want to hear.
Okay, yeah. Do that. Okay.
All right, let me hear a lip ball with a chuckle.
Really?
Yeah.
With a smirk on his face.
I just want to hear. I haven't heard you lip ball and chuckle yet. So
okay.
Those last couple chuckles sounded really good.
They did? I was thinking, man, my chuckles are sucking balls
No, because you started to drop it right on his face.
I was consciously trying to, I need to get that bass in there, and I never, the reed moved on me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's the worst feeling ever.
I can't get it. But
Isaac Jacobson's going to hate me for saying this, but when he was at one of the competitions, I wasn't there, but I heard about it. He was up on the stage, and he was doing a bugle, and he literally blew his reed out of his mouth.
Oh.
Yeah. He said it was the worst feeling ever. He was so embarrassed.
There's nothing you can do.
Yeah, no, the's literally not. You just got to pick it up, put it back in your mouth, and start calling again.
Reed and go home.
Yeah.
So I wasn't happy with my chuckles on that one, honestly. The lip ball was okay.
Yeah, lip ball was pretty good.
Was it?
Yeah, it sounded pretty good.
It takes me a while to get sound.
Yeah.
Like I can't do it right off the bat. It's really hard for
There's
me to
a
do it
lot.
off
There's some people that can, but there's a lot of people that can't. Like I only sometimes can, very rarely.
Let me try one more time.
All right, get it again. There you go.
Better?
Those last couple sounded.
Better.
Those last couple
They did.
chuckles sounded amazing.
Like
that lip
dude,
ball sounded good
those
too.
2 out of the 8 you just did were pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay, so your turn, sir.
All right, you call it.
No, you're gonna do the same thing.
Okay.
Just point it towards the mic over there, and
All right, I got you.
we should do this live on Instagram. Is what we should be doing. But, go ahead. No pressure. Okay, you won that one. I'm gonna secede that. Okay, I'll call the next one. We'll do this for another 2. Do a bull bark,
Okay.
followed by a cow mew estrus,
Okay.
followed by
Oh man, we're getting a train going here. Huh?
yeah, followed by a roundup.
A roundup. What do you mean?
Roundup bugle. No,
I've never
it's
heard
like it's like that bark bugle thing.
Oh,
you did.
okay. I
Yeah.
gotcha. So you want to hear bull bark to cow estrus
Yeah,
to roundup.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Hit me.
I messed that.
That's it?
I messed that cow bark up.
Oh, maybe I can beat you.
I messed that roundup bugle up pretty bad right there.
Maybe I can take you on this
I
one.
choked on that one.
All right, here we go. This is fun.
Oh yeah, it is.
Okay. What was it? It was
Okay.
It was
bull
bark, cow mew.
Yeah. No, cow estrus.
Cow
mew.
estrus
Yeah.
mew, and then
Roundup, you said.
bugle.
All right, I gotta hear this roundup bugle. Yeah,
I effed it up too.
Hey, we both messed them up. Hey, it's whatever.
God, I suck. Okay, so your turn. Call it. We'll do one more. You call the last one.
I want to hear you try that bull moan.
I've never done it, but yeah, let's try it. Just give me another example.
All
Here,
right,
what
I
you
gotcha.
want. Wet my whistle real quick.
So when I do it, you got to go 2 moans. So just a 2 moans, and then just right after you get done with your second moan, just dive it straight into chuckles.
Okay.
And they can be loud chuckles. You don't got to sit there and baby on them. Just chuckle normally.
You show me what, and I'll try to imitate it the best I can. I don't know.
You got it. You got it. You got to get this down.
So it's or
Yeah, kind of.
God damn it.
Just try to drop the tone a little bit lower.
What are you doing there?
I've kind of dropping my tongue off it at some spots and then bringing it right back up. There, no, you're getting that buzz at the end.
I sound like a dead cat. It's like the beginning of a bugle.
Yeah.
Okay, give me that freaking bugle then.
You got it.
Keep breaking. All right, you win. And then, okay. Here goes my official 5th attempt.
All right, here you go. Those last couple chuckles sounded good. You just got to remember, drop that thing straight on its
Straight
face.
down. I need to work on my chuckles. I need to figure out how to meow like a cat through the bugle. Chuckle, bull thing.
Yeah, the bull moan.
The bull moan, dude. I've never even heard of that.
Yeah.
But you caught me on something I've never even heard of.
It was literally the weirdest thing ever.
Yeah.
My dad took me down to talk to Brian Lanley about calling because I wanted to get in competition, right? And he goes, okay, let's hear everything first. And the first thing he said to me, he goes, well, first of all, when you came in here, I thought you were going to sound like a dying cat. He goes, you don't sound like a dying cat, so that's good. I was like, all right, we're already started off pretty good here.
Sweet.
And then he goes, okay, let's hear your lip ball. I had no clue what a lip ball. I didn't even know what a lip ball was.
Really? So he had to show you, or what?
I go, what is a lip ball? He goes, what do you mean? I was like, okay, you got to explain this to me. I'm fairly new to this. So he explained it to me, explained to me how to do it. And then literally on the drive home, I picked it up. Just like finally started to learn how to do it. I was like, what the heck? This is sweet. Mm-hmm. And this is where the whole do this thing for a month and then you'll get it down came from. Because literally all I did for a month when I got home was I just lip balled. Didn't even cow call.
Really?
Yeah, didn't even cow call. Didn't even chuckle. Didn't do anything except for lip balls. And then I got my lip ball down. And then after that, I went back into chuckles for probably 2 weeks straight and got chuckles down good. And then went to locators where I didn't break notes all the time, where I was actually, doing the locator pretty well. Mm-hmm. And then I kind of just jumbled that all together and then tried to make it all sound pretty good.
Oh, my alarm's going off downstairs. I might have to actually, I will have to. Here, give me 1 second.
All right.
So where were we?
I have no clue. I believe we were on the subject of me just telling people, like, the number one thing to do when you need to learn something when it comes to calling.
Oh, yeah, you did it for like a month straight.
Yeah, you don't have to do it for a month, but do it until you are comfortable with doing that out in the woods. Like, there's some people that right when they crack a reed in their mouth, they're like, yeah, I'm comfortable out in the woods. Do it until you feel like you sound, you're good enough. When I feel like when a lot of people are there, when they get to they're good enough, then they're a pretty decent caller enough for calling.
Okay, yeah. For me, I want to be able to do what I want the first time on demand.
Yes.
That's when I feel like I'm ready. And
that should be a lot of people's quote good enough is when you can go out in the woods and you can say to yourself, I want a lip ball right now. And you can go and execute that lip ball at least, pretty good. And not to be perfect, but at least pretty good. Then I feel like, you're a pretty decent caller already. That's
where I feel like I am. Like I can execute a call minus that moan thing you just showed me, but I feel like I can execute pretty much all the calls on demand with limited errors.
Yeah. What I would say would be a good caller.
Okay.
I would consider you a pretty damn good caller.
Really?
Yeah.
After hearing guys like you, I'm like,
if you went to Worlds right now, you could place top 15.
Well, really?
I would guarantee you that.
Out of 15?
No, out of like 40. out of like 40 people.
Really?
Pretty easily.
You think?
Pretty easily.
Man, this competition must not be that stiff.
No, there's some guys that show up there and it's like, all right.
What are you doing?
Like,
how do you qualify?
You don't have to. You literally show up and you pay them money.
Seriously?
And you walk up there and start
How much
calling.
money?
I can't remember what the entry fee is. I want to say for adult it's like $50.
Dude, okay, that's why you're getting guys that I could beat. It's because anybody could go.
No, it's literally like there was some guy that showed up with a power bugle and started ripping on that power bugle. Didn't chuckle once during the competition. Just ripped on just did a high pitch bugle the whole entire time for 45 seconds, and then went to his cow calls and couldn't cow call.
Really?
Yeah.
So how do some of these guys how do some of these guys that are amazing callers get out the first round? I don't get it.
Judging.
Really?
Judging's the main thing.
I watch UFC all the time. They have this old chick that doesn't know how to judge. Worth a darn. And they keep bringing her back.
So their thing that they say at the Elk Calling Championships every year is we have different judges every year.
Really?
That is a sack of crap.
Is it really?
I believe it was either 3 or 4 of the same judges showed up.
Really?
And it's like, okay, if you're going to sit here and tell me that you're going to have different judges every year, I want to see different judges every year.
Yeah.
Because there's a kid that's won it now 2 years in a row that, he's a good caller. I'm not taking anything away from him. But, there's better callers out there.
Okay.
But it was the weirdest thing ever. And I'm not saying that they're biased against that kid. And,
he's just just doing what they like.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's known what they like now because he's got knocked out because the 3 of the 4 judges have been the same for the past 3 years, I think.
Really?
Yeah, I think. Don't quote me on that.
You wouldn't think it would be that hard to find people that want to judge.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's really not. Like, if I walked out in the crowd, I could probably find 4 pretty dedicated elk hunters that know what an actual elk sounds like, know what they should be judging off of that can literally just go like this, and you'd be like, we could take those people out of there. They had a couple new judges this year, and I have a pretty good feeling that those old judges were like, no, this is what we're listening for. Because the first round there was a guy that should have won that won, and then the next round there was a guy that should have won that lost.
Really?
Like landslide should have won, like 7-0 should have won and lost.
Really?
Yeah,
That bad?
It was crazy.
Huh. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's a bunch of different things though. Like Jason getting knocked out the first round with Corey. I mean,
that's understandable.
Yeah. But there's people. Who was it? Dirk got knocked out in the first round 2 years ago.
Did he really?
To a guy that he should not have got knocked out in the first round. I think it was.
Huh.
Yeah, I think it was just some random guy that he got knocked out to. I was calling in the pro division for some reason.
Really?
I was amazed by it. Who else was it that got knocked out 2 years ago? That was pretty bad. There was some guy in the men's division that easily should have won it, and he got knocked out in the second round.
See, what they should have is professional elk callers past judging.
Yes.
Yeah, like guys that know, or just, like you said, dedicated elk callers that know what elk. There's a lot of guys that I think probably go to those competitions. Maybe that's all they do. I don't know.
So the funniest thing is when they introduce all the judges beforehand, half the judges were rifle elk hunters. Like literally rifle, like they guided for elk, but they were all guided rifles.
Huh.
It's like, okay,
how many of them were getting all the?
You're gonna hear a couple bugles maybe if your spot's pretty damn good during the rifle hunt. Maybe. You're not hearing near as many bugles as an
archery guy.
Yeah. There's no way.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, but like that's not how. Like if you're gonna be a judge for a bugling competition, I feel like you need to know what every bugle sounds like.
The elk nut dude.
Yes.
Have Mike Batiste on
Mike
there.
Batiste, yes.
And have some like
Rocky Jacobson. He retired this year from elk calling. We need to have him up there.
Have him on there. Yeah. Let me choose the judges.
Exactly. No,
don't have me on there.
No, you would actually be a pretty good judge, honestly. You know what an elk needs to sound like. And like we were talking yesterday, if I'm going into a competition, I don't want to hear what a real elk sounds like. Well, obviously I do, but like a real elk is sometimes going to break notes. Right. They're going to fluctuate notes. They're going to
cough.
They're going to cough.
Do
all that. So you're telling me that if I go up on the stage and I can go, and cough through my tube, that you're going to give me the vote because I just coughed through my tube?
Right.
You're not going to give me the vote.
Makes sense.
It should be what the perfect elk sounds like. Clean note, slides very good, and it's, chuckles. Everything should sound like the quote-unquote perfect elk is what I believe it should sound like. That's what a lot of the competition people believe it should be.
You know what they should do is go out in the freaking woods and have these competitions, man. Because that's where you sound.
Who can call in the most bulls? That should be the competition.
There you go. But I used to set up my camera, my DSLR, and I would set it out at like 60, 80 yards, and then I'd go call, and I'd call for like 20 minutes. And then I'd go check my camera and see what I needed to work on. But I'd do it out in the woods. Yeah,
that's where honestly I go straight from a room where it's kind of echoey. Yeah. A lot of people in there.
Okay, I'm gonna sound like that. Bugling in your house is like singing in the bathroom.
Yes.
Dude. Everybody sounds like a rock star.
Literally. When you go out in the woods, it changes the game.
It changes it, yeah.
You hear a different tone than you do when you're in the house.
I think it's easier to sound good in the woods, honestly.
It 100% is.
Yeah.
110%.
Yeah, I get out there, I'm like, oh, that's
because if you break a note, it'll carry for a lot longer, so it won't sound as bad. It'll just make it sound like, oh, I hit a high-pitched note right there, and I continue that high-pitched note.
Yeah.
But obviously, you can tell, like yourself can tell, like, yeah, I broke that note pretty bad right there.
Well, I was watching this video today, and I'm not sliding anybody, but Cameron Haynes posted a video of him hunting. I think it was in Arizona, and he has a guide or somebody calling for him way back in there, and it's just a stair-step bugle, dude. It sounds like a Terminator on crack.
It's crazy. Like, a lot of those guides out there, and like, let's say you got a big unit, like let's say you're hunting San Carlos. Right, the ranch down.
You don't have to be a good caller.
Exactly, you don't have to be. You literally just walk around and you'll jump a 400-inch bull out of its bed and shoot it. It's crazy.
Yeah,
that's why when our main goal, or me and my dad's main goal, my little brother's, is to run this archery shop for the rest of my life, and hopefully for my kids' life too. We want to be able to run this archery shop. But if that doesn't work out, I've already told him, my main thing is I don't care about money. I really don't need money to be happy. If I'm in the woods guiding 24/7, I will be the happiest man alive. My dad's like, well, it's like babysitting. It's like, well, call me babysitter then, because I'm watching big stuff die all the time. Like, I think.
Or have your own outfitting business.
That's what I'm saying.
Don't be a guide. Guides don't make a lot of money.
Is eventually go from, okay, I'm this, I'm the baseline guide, right?
Yeah.
I guide for elk, I guide for deer, I guide for whatever, my outfitter guides for. Eventually, then I can work my way up through, the guide ranks, and then I can become an outfitter one of those days.
Yeah.
And that would, in my opinion, would be sweet. I can be an outfitter, I can still go out with clients. I can go out on my own hunts. I can do all that stuff. I feel like that would be the coolest thing ever. But,
Well, when I graduated high school, that's what I was going to do. I even put down the college I was going to go to was the COAGS.
Really?
And it's the Colorado Outdoor Adventure Guide School.
Uh-huh.
And it was like $4 or $5 or something like that. And it was only a couple months long. And they teach you how to guide and like do the horse stuff. They teach you how to take care of your client. They teach you everything.
Yeah.
And I didn't pull the trigger because I was talking to guides around here, and just none of them were. They were just getting by. They weren't. They weren't. It was hard for them.
Yeah.
It was month to month. It was like, I don't want that, man.
Yeah.
But you can make. I think you can. I'm sure there's guides out there that make good money.
Yeah.
But
Cal Halliday, for example, is one of them. But he quarter owns the outfit.
I was gonna
that
say
he runs.
you need to get some equity in something.
Yeah. He has equity in it, but if you're guiding those high dollar sheep hunts like that, I mean, it's $30,000 to go kill one of those rams out there.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it.
I mean, they're putting down some toads, though. I mean, there's some big rams out there.
Well, what do you say we get this thing wrapped up here? Is there any pieces of advice for guys wanting to, younger guys like you that are thinking about doing it, guys that are thinking, what calls? Is there any last-minute words of wisdom from you?
I would say even if you don't want to participate in the competition, go.
Go.
You will hear a lot of different variations of bugles that still sound amazing. Bo Brooks, for example, Corey Jacobson are two polar opposites when it comes to outcome. Corey, loud, clean. Bo, pretty quiet, but amazingly clean. You'll hear multiple different ways to elk call, and a lot of those guys, you go up to them and be like, hey, man, you got any advice for me? They'll give you advice. They'll spew it out like, like it's nothing. Huh. They don't care. I mean, they want to get people involved. Like, I want to get people involved in these elk competitions.
I'm surprised it's not a bigger thing.
Same here. I mean, there's a lot of money and prizes in that stuff.
Yeah.
$5,000, I think, to the
first place.
Yeah, for pro. That's a
What's
decent
top
penny.
15 get?
Top 15 gets, if you're in the top 3, then you get some money and some prizes.
So I need to get 5 times better than I currently am.
You could do pretty good at one of the competitions, that's for sure. There was a guy there that I think got I want to say 10th.
Really?
He was pretty good, but you were definitely better.
Oh wow. Huh.
Yeah.
Well, my luck, I'd go against Corey Jacobson the first
round. No, you would probably call an adult instead of calling him pro.
Yeah.
I kept telling my dad, I don't know why I was saying this, but I was like, I'm calling him pro next year. I don't care. Why would I do that? That's dumb. I'm in youth. Might as well just try to get a trophy while I can, and then
right.
And then when I have to go up to pro, then I'll go up to pro.
Yeah. So you're gonna become sponsored and stuff when you go to pro.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, you can go to pro and not be sponsored at all.
You just have to pay the fee and self pay everything. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Huh. Well, I appreciate the tips. I know just through this podcast and just listening to some of the things, my chuckles sound a little bit better.
Yeah, they definitely do.
I was always wondering how those guys are getting the bass, and it's just drop it like it's hot.
It's just drop it, literally.
A lot of air and drop it. And so I'm going to work on that.
Yeah, and you'll get that nice that I explained it as a pop coming off there, because right when you drop it, your tongue is naturally going to fall down, right? And then you're just gonna get a burst of air coming out. It'll sound like a pop coming off your chuckle.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So I wanted to get guys tips like that. Turning the mouth or turning the reed 45 or 30 degrees angles helps you get a different sound.
Yeah, it does.
And then not that Phelps will ever listen to this, but we need to create a call that lasts longer than 2 days that I can blow the shit out of it. Just blow as hard as I want. And 5 days out of a call. I spent $180 on reeds this year.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
I hunted over 20 days straight every day after work.
I just stole them from your archery shop and didn't tell my dad about it. You come out there. Why are all the Phelps pink gone? I couldn't tell you.
There goes my truck driving down the road. But, well, I appreciate you coming on, man, and helping me become a better bugler. And,
I appreciate you having me.
You sound really good, and I wanted
you.
to have you on, and just the passion, and you can hear it in your voice that you really love this shit.
Yeah,
so.
I love it. It's a lot of fun. I got my little brother into it. He was come out one day while I was bugling. How the hell do you do that?
Really?
I go, well, here, take this read, and I'll try to teach you a little bit. And ever since then, he just kind of took it and ran with it. Now it's me telling him to shut up because he's bugling too much. It's yeah.
I remember at the Hoodoo, in almost every one of my podcasts, you could hear you guys' bugles.
Oh yeah, because customers would come up. They're like, my dad. I don't know why my dad always does this, but literally he'll be like, yeah, like out of the blue, he'll be like, yeah, Cody's won like 4 elk calling competitions or something like that. And I was like, okay, why are we telling people this? Like,
He's proud of you.
I don't know. I enjoy calling, but like. Yeah. You know, I told him one time, I was like, no, Garrett's podcasting right now. I'm not going to. And he goes, Garrett won't care. He'll think it's funny. And I was like, all right, fine. If I let one
He's
loose.
Right, I don't care. But it adds to the podcast. You know?
Yeah, it
it's
does.
Just like, hey, I'm here at Hoodoo. Shit's going on.
Exactly.
Come on out.
Oh, yeah.
So, but all right, Cody. Well, we're going to go smash a giant whitetail tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So, but so we'll go out, and if you want to get out and scout, you can get out and scout tonight. But yeah, I appreciate you coming on the show, man, and good luck tomorrow.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me.
All right, see ya.
See ya.
All right, guys, that's this episode of the podcast. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to go check out the website, www.onpointpodcast.com. If you're just starting to listen to the show and you're starting to like get into the show, give me your email on there. We're going to come out with the newsletter, which is like 2 months late now. So, stuff got busy. I got hunting, and I kind of put it on the back burners. But we're going to come out with the OP newsletter, which will get you discounts on the gear that I've been using or believe in. Gets you updates on what content's coming out, and just kind of keeps you up to date with the show. And that is going to be the number one thing you can do to help the show actually grow. You can also become a Patreon member at www.patreon.com/onpointpodcast. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Tons of ways. Leave a review on iTunes. Tons of ways that you guys can support the show if you really like to, you feel so inclined. And outside of that, I appreciate everybody listening. Thanks for hanging out with that month and a half kind of lag between episodes there. And we're going to be back in the saddle coming out with a bunch more content, guys. So look forward to talking to you soon, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.